HR manager called me a chimp during the process of a job interview.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your girl, Shea Richburg, ADNC community. I am so excited to bring you this story today. Let's check this out. So today I'm going to share the story of a woman that applied for a job interview, and then she got the response in the heading saying, "Dear Chimp." Let's jump right into it. Okay, so Allison Jones says that she was scrolling through LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it's a platform that I'm sure so many of us have been on. They have so many positions available and jobs on LinkedIn. And there was an easy apply prompt that Allison used to easily apply for a position in a company named Nexus. So it is a company that it's an educational tech support company. And so Allison applied. So she said the day of the interview came, they wanted for her to have an interview. It came and she jumps on, I believe around 11 o'clock, she says, and the interviewer jumped on at about 11:03. Instantly, this man, the HR person, jumps on and he explains that he's not in the office, he's running late, and that they need to reschedule, and asked if she could reschedule for 12 o'clock that day. Well, Allison, being that she is a mother, she's quite busy, she could not reschedule. And to his dismay, he wasn't happy. And he says, "Well, what about tomorrow? Are you available tomorrow?" And she explains that her schedule is pretty busy. She's pretty frazzled. She was ready at that date and time. And it kind of threw her off because it wasn't happening at that day and that time. So she tells him that she'll just look at the Calendly link that they sent to her, and she'll choose another date and time that they have on their Calendly link that is available. So she says later on that day, before even thinking about responding to them, and I believe she said at that point in time that she thought that she didn't even want to reschedule. I'm assuming that she was a bit annoyed that she was just kind of blown off during her interview time. And so she knew that she wasn't going to reschedule. But later on that day, she did receive an email from the company. And in the heading, it did state, "Dear Chimp." Okay, so I'm going to show you this.
Story time. I usually don't do this, but I actually have time today. I had an interview this morning with a company called Nexus, and I just want you guys to know that this company is so disrespectful and blatantly racist. Interview was scheduled for 11 a.m. I had to move some things around, but I logged on right at 11. The person interviewing me logged on at about 11:02, didn't have their camera on, and as soon as we got on, was like, "Hey, sorry, I'm actually away from the office right now. Is there any way that we can move your interview an hour?" I was like, "Oh, hey, so sorry. I actually have to pick up my kids in an hour. Like, this was the only time today that worked for me." I'm like, "What about later in the week?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, like maybe tomorrow. Like, what's your availability tomorrow?" I checked my schedule and I actually didn't even really have availability tomorrow, to be honest. I was like, "You know what? Don't worry about it. Like, I'll reschedule on the Calendly link. Like, don't worry about it. Thanks so much." Look at the email that the HR manager for this company just sent me. How disheartening as a Black woman looking for a job is it that companies are still so blatantly disrespectful and so racist? I usually don't do things like this. However, I've been burned so many times looking for a job in this job market just by people being scammers, by things like this. And I just felt impelled to share. This is why I am heavy in this entrepreneur life, starting my own business.
Okay, so did you guys see that? I don't know if you guys had enough time to read it, but it may have been really quickly. If not, I'm going to read it to you. The statement says, "You showed up to the interview just to say you're not interested, question mark. What a clown." Uh, it was a waste of everyone's time. And next time you feel like playing these games, don't. Never reach out to us again, ever. No regards. So you saw that was extremely disrespectful. That was extremely unprofessional. I have never heard of anyone receiving such a response from a company like this ever. I think this may be the first time. There's always a first for everything, but this is the first time somebody, I believe, receiving a "Dear Chimp" response to not having an interview with the company. She explains her story in its entirety. She said, obviously, she was floored. She was very upset. This is a whole nother level of racism that, she never expected to be involved in. And I'm bringing you this story. I'm roping it back. This is not necessarily focusing on AI, but this is about professionalism in America, all over the world, but in America. So, you know, people have had many interviews, you know, some haven't gone right, some have gone, you know, really wrong, but this is another level. You know, people should always be professional. People should never bring racism into hiring practices. There's laws against this, obviously. So, you know, there's a lot to be said against that. But I just wanted to bring this awareness that, you know, people do experience bias and racism all the time. We've talked about this even when AI is involved. And in this instance here, AI is not involved. But don't let that discourage you. You know, you will get the position that you are meant for. It will come to you. You know, don't ever be discouraged, because this story right here was infuriating. This, you know, is obviously something that should not be stood for. That person was extremely wrong in writing that to her, regardless on how upset he was that she could not reschedule that day or any other day. Completely unacceptable. But I shared this with you to say, you know, don't focus on situations like this. And this is an extreme situation, ladies and gentlemen. But, you know, if you ever come across a situation like this, it's, you know, it's not everyone out here. Just know that the right position will be for you. You will get the position. You know, always stay positive in all your interactions, all your interviews, everything that you do, and you will receive the right door opening for you. So that's why I really wanted to share this with you. But I'm not done yet. I wanted to share a little bit more what was going on. So, next level of racism. So she emailed the company and formally told them that she is no longer interested. She is a content creator and she has a following. So this story has really gone viral, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's out there. It is like people are really talking about this. I don't know if you guys have already heard this story, but you can check this story out directly from her. Again, her name is Allison Jones. I'm bringing you this information for what I have seen. The story is pretty long. You can hear her words. You can see her emotion. You know, she tried to stay professional through all of this, but good news is that the company did release a statement on behalf of Nexus. And generally, the statement is pretty long, but it does say that at Nexus, we hold ourselves at the highest standards of respect, dignity, and inclusion for every individual and every interaction. And it has come to our attention that one of our HR employees directed racial remarks towards a Black woman. Upon learning of the incident, we conducted a thorough internal investigation. And as a result, the employee in question has been terminated. So that's good news. We do not tolerate racism, discrimination, or any form of dehumanizing behavior, and from anyone at any level of our organization. To the Black community and everyone affected by this incident, we are deeply sorry. You deserve better, and we have failed in our duty to protect and uphold your dignity. We welcome people of all races, backgrounds, and identity, and we believe firmly that everyone is equal regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, or any other background. We thank you for holding us accountable, and we will do better. Nexus leadership team. So they actually put that out there, I believe, on LinkedIn. They did shut down their Instagram page because I believe they were getting so much negative feedback. They did shut down their Instagram page, but they did post this on their LinkedIn page. So this story, as outrageous as it sounds, there are receipts for this story. So, you know, there was a chain of emails, and Allison put that out there. So this did happen. And so after that, you know, the CEO actually reached out to her also. The CEO himself reached out to her and said, basically, he was sorry. He apologized. And he said justice has been served. The person was terminated and a formal apology has been issued. I just read you the formal apology, and he would like to kindly ask that she take down her post. And so ultimately, Allison did not take down her post. She did contact a lawyer to see, you know, what rights she has. She feels as though the company may not be as remorseful as they appear to be. I'm not saying that they aren't. I'm just sharing, again, her words that she expressed with people. And she's saying, you know, because it rapidly is just, you know, going like wildfire. People learning about this company and what this one person did. the CEO was like, wait, stop, hold on. And it's not for me to say who's right or wrong here as far as with the CEO, but I just want you guys to know he did write that to her. So when she reached out to her attorney, she basically found out there were a lot of red flags revolving this nexus. So some of the red flags were he took a look at the website and actually found that all the photos on their company website were made through ChatGTP. There were no real photos on the website. Okay, that's one thing. So I had to talk about AI a little bit in this story. I tell you, I always try to do some technology or AI, right? I promised you that. And this company is registered in Delaware, and it says it on the website. But when her attorney checked, and they went to do a search within all the companies registered in the state of Delaware, this company is not registered in the state of Delaware. It says on the website it's registered in the state of Delaware, and it had an address as well as India, but it is saying based off of the state, they are not registered in the state of Delaware. So I don't know. I don't have any answers for you about this company. I'm just sharing this with anyone who has had some type of disparaging experience like this woman, possibly not on a job interview, but in general and in life. Okay. To always know your worth, know who you are, and never let someone's words or actions tear you down. So this was a story that seems negative, but I mean, I like everybody listening to me to understand there's always positivity at the end of the day, and don't let someone's negativity, overshine all your wonderful aspects. So please let me know what you think about this, because when I read this story, I was definitely ready to share my thoughts with people. And I feel as though other people should listen to this story, get some feedback, and learn, and just know, another person's experience. I would hope that nobody else, goes through anything like this. It was really interesting that this company was actually hiring through LinkedIn and would act so unprofessional. That was really startling. I mean, a lot of people do apply through LinkedIn, and it's a great platform. But the fact that this person who's so unprofessional, and knowing that their company, if it's a real company or not, I don't know, but being attached to that, that's a little scary. So using AI again to leverage something that appears a certain way that really isn't. Are we surprised? We aren't, ladies and gentlemen. So share your comments with me. If you want to know more about the story, please check out Allison Jones yourself. This has been a great episode. I hope that I provided enough clarity to you and sent you guys enough information. And so you guys know that everybody out there is wonderful, regardless of what experiences you may come across. If you like this story, please download the ADNC app and come check me out at srichburg.com. I'm always here to share the greatest stories, issues, trends with you guys. Until next time, have a wonderful day, everybody, and I will see you soon.